If there is no self, why do self-inquiry? Would you like to begin with this one? You want me to start?
Well, self-inquiry is done when there's still that sense of individuality in place. When that blows out, that self-inquiry blows out as well. It's done as a way to shock the mind into stillness. It's not done to substantiate a sense of individuality. And there never was a self there, but as long as one feels like there is one present, it's just a practice it's actually to be done spontaneously as it arises. When things become, when this sense of individuality becomes very thin, comes and goes, then this self-inquiry arises spontaneously as who? Because there'll be periods where there's a feeling like you never existed. It's all gone, and the individuality, that sense of it, rises and falls, and the question who starts coming up spontaneously as a way to break down those last threads. But it's not. It's just, it comes up in a natural way to break down the last threads.
If you're asking and you're saying there is no self, why do self-inquiry? If you have to ask, then there purely is a sense of self-identity there. And if there is a sense of persona, me, and self-identity there, then one needs to do inquiry to find out it doesn't exist. You can't take an assumption or have read there's no self and then run with that. Because if you got circling mind and the stories going on, then there's clearly a sense of self, or me. Me story.
That same paradox of it
exactly.
takes effort to dissolve into that effortless consciousness of nothing. It's just a paradox, and people get so twisted around these paradoxes. They think it's either or, and it's these things. It's not that way. It's a paradox. That's why you can say, well, why practice then? Because the me never existed, so why do anything at all?
Right.
Why?
So why did Ramana say that you have to have a guru? If everyone has no self,
why bother?
Why bother? Why do you need a guru? You need a guru because you clearly don't know that there is no self. You may be saying the words, but the actuality of there not being a me persona self is not in place. Okay? It's only when realization takes place and you know that there is no self, then you say there's no self. But for you, there's still a self. There's still, the appearance of a me. And as long as that illusion is in place, you need something to dispel that illusion, to find out it's an illusion. Okay? For you, it's very real. Here, it's an illusion. There's no more. Illusion doesn't even arise any longer. Okay? So it's the same thing. It's the longest journey, but you go nowhere.
Same type paradox.
What are you going to do? It's the paradox. So yeah, this is the problem I have with some of the Neo-Advaita things. They get in this thing, well, if there's no self, why do self-inquiry? Because you're in the illusion of a self. You're in that dream. You haven't woken up yet. You're in the dream of the dream and the dreamer. Okay, you're still stuck there. You're still in the revolving mind, still grasping at it. And if you have to ask this question, then clearly there's something in place that doesn't know. Okay? Because if there was truly no self, this question would not arise. It would have no relevance whatsoever. When the reality is known, there's no question that arises. It simply is. If you've got to ask questions about it, then it's an assumption. Then you have an idea about it, but you don't know it yet. So